What is good, homies? This is Chris from the Small Hat Crew, joined today by Small Hat Garen.
Hello!
Hello, indeed.
Hello, indeed.
So, we'll just jump into it. Sakazuki's been banned.
He's gone! I called it! I called it! Look at the chat. Look at the Discord. I said it. I didn't mean it. I was joking, but it happened.
That's the craziest part. It's such an insane hit. It's one of those things, too, because it's like, Sakazuki, where do we even begin? So, because we all knew the leader had to be dealt with in some way, right? We all knew some kind of hit had to happen. People assumed you'd hit something in Rebecca Hinaluchi combo. I said you should errata Rebecca. I still think that's what they should have done.
Yes, like something not taking him out of the game entirely. In my head, I was thinking maybe they rework his leader and make one of his abilities or both of his abilities cost something.
Well, there's a new ban list announced.
Oh yeah, yes.
So we have lost 3 cards. We have lost Sakazuki the leader. We have lost Great Eruption, and we have lost Reject, the yellow.
We didn't even get Reject. We're losing it.
We never got the fucking card.
We get Reject for like 2 weeks and it's gone.
Oh yeah, we will have it for 2 weeks. So this list is going to go effective, I believe, April 1st. It's just so weird to me to give us the set for 2 weeks to then switch. Like, if we must have the list going day 1 into OPO6, right? Because I think that just makes sense.
Yeah, like it makes sense. And like
no one's gonna have Sakazuki anymore.
Exactly. No one's gonna be playing Sakazuki. No one's gonna be testing for Sakazuki anymore because like, what's the point? In 2 weeks, it's gone.
They might not even have it anymore. Sakazuki's already dropped from $120+ to fucking. People are trying to move him on Facebook for $30.
No, he was looking for it. He had it. He already knows. He knows that he's like, this card is worthless, so I'll give you $30 for it. Like,
it's okay. All right, so let's jump into Sakazuki. So the reason Sakazuki's worthless is because he has been banned, right? However,
it's like not only has he been banned,
and this is the part I find so dumb about it, because I've been saying I don't think Sakazuki should be banned. He should be errated.
Yes,
and Bandai was like, we disagree. He shouldn't be errated. We should ban him. It's like, okay, well, I guess that's a bit extreme, but they're like, however, we're gonna print a new Sakazuki with a new effect. So it's like, oh, so you've just errated him. But they did it in the most backhanded way, because he is a new card. He has a new set number. So that means everyone that has like an alt-art Sakazuki no longer has any use for it. At least if it was errated, they could have still used the old Sakazuki. It would have had some value to it. This though, like literally your Sakazukis mean fucking nothing. It is a useless card. It is there to collect dust. It does fucking...
No. You put it in the back of your phone case now. You can put it in the back of your phone case now.
I can't believe it.
Bro, it's crazy. It's unreal.
They did it in the way, because they could have just changed Sakazuki's effect to this new effect.
Yes.
That would have been fine.
It would have been perfectly fine.
They went out of their way. They went out of their way to fuck the Sakazuki. Like, everybody has been so mad at the Sakazuki players up to this point, and it feels like Bandai is too. They're like, no, fuck you guys.
Well,
we're gonna give you your errata, but you're gonna lose all your fucking money.
You're gonna hate this, but that's literally what they did. They're like, you're gonna hate this, but we're gonna. Like, oh god.
It's like they're like, look, we're banning Sakazuki, but we're gonna give you a replacement. And then you read it, it's like, oh, he's bad. He's not even playable.
It's such a weird way to do this, because it's like, why? Like, just say he's errated, and here's this new text, and we're gonna be printing this new leader going forward. It's as simple as that. Banning his card is such a weird thing, just to put a literal another Sakazuki, same stats, same colors, with the same ability, but now with a cost.
Yep, it's Sakazuki, black, blue, 4 life, 5k power, special navy. So everything is exactly the same up to this point. Activate main once per turn. You may discard 1 card from your hand with the navy type. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost for the turn. My god.
So basically, they tried to fuse both of his effects into one, which is whatever. But now his -1 is no longer just free, and he's completely lost his cycle.
It's so crazy to me that like his -1 has a cost, because up to this point, -1 has always been the free effect. And I don't mean like in Sakazuki, I mean in general.
Yeah.
The -1 was free on Smoker, the -1 is free on the Lucci that's coming out, and the -1 is free on Perona. This is the only leader to have an actual cost on their -1.
Was Isho, was his -1?
It was you attach a Dawn and he -1 to the entire board.
Yes.
So like this ability is so ass. I really do think I don't think we see this leader anymore. I really don't.
Sokka is dead because like he was a broken card with 2 free effects, and now he's a bad card with a cost to his effect, and he's just lost basically the other half of his effect.
Yeah.
Like,
so I'm while I don't think Sakazuki should have been banned, I do think overall this is a net positive for One Piece. While I don't think Sakazuki should have been banned, now, I have said many times in videos, Small Hat viewers will know, there have been many times I've said Sakazuki does have to be banned at some point because he limits blue card design. The same argument I made for Nami is the same argument I made for Sakazuki. With Nami, every time Bandai wants to print a blue card that draws, it would have to be leader locked or something so that Nami can't abuse it. And that is what Sakazuki, that Sakazuki remaining in the game was going to do the same thing to blue. You couldn't print good bottom decking cards anymore because Sakazuki would just abuse them. So you're gonna have to leader lock them to blue leaders moving forward. So that was one problem Sakazuki had that needed to be addressed. It's why I said Sakazuki does need to be banned at some point. I just didn't think it'd be for like at least another 4 or 5 sets. Another thing is because Sakazuki existed, there was no reason to play any other blue leader. The only other blue leaders you could make an argument for would be Nami, but Nami doesn't play blue. Nami's doing her own, she's playing solitaire. She does her own thing. She's not playing the blue game plan.
She doesn't care what's happening with everything else.
Nami could be any color. You could put that effect on any color realistically. And then, because that's not core to blue's like identity in One Piece. And then the other leader you could argue would be Doflamingo. Because Doflamingo is the one blue leader that doesn't care about like removal or anything. His whole thing is going wide with his leader ability. So he's the only blue leader that Sakazuki didn't step on his toes. Like if you look at Mono Croc, for example, you would never touch that leader. You would never touch that leader while Sakazuki existed. He's just strictly better. And then also because Sakazuki, not only did he invalidate all the other blue leaders, he also like why the fuck would you play Smoker? Black Smoker. There's no reason to play Smoker. And even the new Lucci that's coming out, I remember saying I thought he would be very mid because why would I ever play him when Sakazuki exists? Like Sakazuki's -1, his free with a cycle on top of it, invalidated all other black leaders. He invalidated the blue leaders and the black leaders. So from that perspective, as far as just limiting card design and limiting what leaders see play, because people would argue that like Sakazuki limited what leaders could see play like versus him. I don't think that's the problem with Sakazuki. Sakazuki, realistically, he only gate kept Law for the most part. It was just red green Law because all the other leaders were gate kept by Enel. But as far as like what leaders can see play, as in like piloting them, if you want to play blue or you want to play black, you had to play Sakazuki if you want to play optimally. Even like Gecko builds, like as a Gecko player, I said I was gonna go into OPO6 playing Gecko Moria, fully acknowledging that he was just worse Sakazuki. Like, I was going to play the best leader, well aware of it. I felt like if I wanted to play optimally, I would play Sakazuki, but I just didn't want to play Sakazuki. So these are some of the positives that do come from this leader being banned. Blue leaders and blue cart design is back on the table again as far as removal goes. Nami's still fucking the other half of it with the cart draw. So I think at some point she also goes. But as far as blue goes, Sakazuki being hit is fucking amazing. I think Mono Croc could like see a new rise or whatever, because as far as bottom decking goes, actually, before we even talk about that, you have anything you want to say about like why it's good he's gone?
I think he's good. He's gone because now like there's a good amount of decks that people would like to try or would attempt to build or whatever. Things like Law, like you said, I think Law is coming, like Law coming back, red green Law coming back. I feel like red purple Law can come back or do better now with him gone. I feel like a lot of decks can just come back. I feel so good about that, is seeing a bunch of other decks in the format. Like, because there were a lot of decks that can do well against yellow, but they just die to Sakazuki. And Sakazuki, again, is like majority of like tournaments, big events, and things like that, like nationals, worlds, regionals. Like, you're gonna run into Sakazuki all the time. And like, you can build, because the biggest problem is like building decks is you can build it in a way where it can handle yellow, or you have to build it handling Sakazuki. There's no like you can't split up like your deck build for something like that.
That was the most toxic part. Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah, that was like the worst part of it, because like it's like you can either build for Sakazuki, but the moment you hit yellow, you're fucked. You're screwed.
Yeah.
Or you can build for yellow and then hit nothing but Saka and be just done with the game. Like, it's very
unfortunate that those leaders came out at the same time, because they both force a different win condition from you. They both want the opponent to do different things to beat them. So like Yara was saying, like, you literally cannot build a deck to beat both. If you build into one, you compromise your matchup into the other. So us having both at the same time was fucking terrible. It was so bad, because you just kind of accepted you were going to lose. Not only were you accepting you'd have a bad matchup, because you couldn't answer both decks, you always accepted that you're going to have a bad matchup to one of the top two decks. So
and you don't want that. Like, you can't win and you can't do good if you're like compromising yourself for like one of the top decks.
Yeah, if you're one of your worst because that's another thing too that a lot of people like have trouble wrapping their head around is as far as bad matchups go, every deck can have a bad matchup or whatever, but the meta is dictated by the meta leaders, and if you have a bad matchup into the meta, then your deck is not meta. People will be angry when you say like Black Yellow Bomb isn't good, right? Because she can win a local or whatever. But when you step above a local and you're competing in an event where you're going to play against Sakazuki and you're going to play against Enel, being able to play into fucking other rogue meta local leaders doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean fucking anything. You have to be able to beat the matchups that you're going to most consistently see. And that's going to be the meta leaders. And that's why a bad Sakazuki matchup is a death sentence. It's why Purple Luffy, before that deck adapted to be able to handle that matchup.
Yeah,
Purple Luffy was... Bro, it was like, people always talk about how we were in rock, paper, scissors format. And I was always like, we're not. That leader's nowhere to be seen. That matchup used to be so unwinnable. The fact that the third best deck, one of the top 3 decks in the game, wasn't even holding a candle to Sakazuki and Enel. He was so far below them that there were just multiple top 8s where you wouldn't even see a Purple Luffy for multiple events in a row. It was also like to the point where like it also went to show like how important it is not to lose to the best deck, because the fact that the third best deck wasn't being represented in the top cut after Latin America innovated the list. And they won their Nats with Purple Luffy, and everybody started net decking that list and playing All Sunday and all that. After that, fucking Purple Luffy was... I think Purple Luffy might have ended OPO 5 with the most tops of all the leaders. I think he has 3 or 4 wins now. He only got like 1 in the very beginning, and he picked up all his near the end. I guess getting back on topic though. So Sakazuki being gone is beneficial for many different reasons. It's one of the things that I wouldn't complain about whatsoever. While I don't think it was the right hit, I'm not going to complain that it's gone, because overall there's nothing. It's one of those hits that I don't think was necessary, but I'm fine with it having happened, because honestly nothing bad comes from this unless you're a Sakazuki player. And honestly, I think for the overall health of One Piece, that's a sacrifice that you have to be willing to make, you know, like
RIP Sakazuki players.
Literally, I think the only reason anyone will be upset about him being gone, because we can all agree that banning Sakazuki, no one saw that shit coming, because that was just, I think that shit was brain dead. I think it was so fucking stupid. I think it's the dumbest way to go about answering him. But at the end of the day, besides Sakazuki players, who's getting hurt by this? If one leader's players have to be upset so that the remaining 50 leader players can be happy, bruh, you know, you just be Jesus on the cross at that point, right? He just dies for our sins. He has to go for everybody else.
he got donuted.
He just goes for everybody else. Literally, if that's what it takes.
And the funny thing about that is, I know so many like Sakazuki players are only playing Sakazuki because they wanted to play best deck in format.
Yeah.
And they were playing a toss-up between that, Anel, and possibly Katakuri. So now like they don't have to make that choice anymore. They're just playing yellow at that point.
There was another that was another thing too. Yeah, I was gonna say a lot did just want to play best deck in format, because you also have to remember too, like Sakazuki was the most represented leader, but of the meta leaders, who always had the worst conversion. And that was because there are a lot of bad Sokka players. There are a lot of players that were not good at Sokka that were playing him just because he was the best deck. They were like, this leader's gonna carry me across the finish line, and then he did it because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
It's not Whitebeard. He can't do that.
Yeah.
The fact Whitebeard could have someone bad piloting it and them still win high level events was like, that's just a testament to just Whitebeard himself.
Yeah, because literally, I think a great way to look at it too is because at the end of the day, you did have to be a good player to play Sakazuki. So it's one of those things where Sakazuki players, there's Sakazuki players that have topped. Now that this leader is gone, we'll still see. So I bet we'll still see a lot of those players still top on other leaders because they were able to pilot Sakazuki. Whereas when Whitebeard got hit, a lot of those players you never heard of, like ever again. They were just gone. They just disappeared.
They disappeared. And it was, well, oh God, who said that? Was it Trevor? I think he said something about like, so with this when Whitebeard got banned, they're like, with this, we're going to see if people were actually good or if Whitebeard carried. And there were so many people who disappeared after that. Like they just never topped again. They never did well, and they just kind of vanished into the
literally
ether.
there were a lot of Whitebeard players that were just carried by that leader. There were a few, there were some good ones. You know, like for example, Trevor actually. Trevor has topped on Zoro, he topped on Whitebeard, he topped on Red Purple Luffy after the hit. So
after the hit.
He wasn't like Whitebeard or bust. There's our other friend Jimmy, who won. I think he got second. I think he got second in 2 back-to-back events. I don't remember what it was, but he did Red Green Law and then he had Whitebeard. Or no, he won on, he did good on Whitebeard, and then I think it was top 8 on Whitebeard at a Treasure Cup, and then like a week later he got second place on Red Green Law. So that's one of those things where there were good players on Whitebeard that can still top and perform once Whitebeard was gone. Sakazuki though, I don't think that's gonna be the case. I think Sakazuki, if you were good enough to win on Sakazuki, you're probably still gonna keep topping, because 1, you were good enough to pilot the deck. 2, you're also good enough to play into the Sakazuki mirror. Like the Sakazuki mirror is a game of like longevity and shit. There's because Sakazuki, if you misplay, you do get punished. So you do have to micromanage your decisions throughout the entire game. And realistically, in Sakazuki matchups, the first player to misplay was the one that would lose the game. That's it. Like Whitebeard would carry. Sakazuki didn't carry anybody. All the players that got their tops on Sakazuki were good players that did earn their tops. No, you can't say that same argument for Whitebeard. Like, there were good players on Whitebeard. No one's gonna say that's not the case. But there were also a lot of like very mediocre players on Whitebeard being carried. So that's Sakazuki. Another thing. So all right. So that's some of the good stuff about him being gone, right? And here's why it's an overall net positive too. Because like, what is bad about him being gone? Like,
I spent money on this card.
That's literally it, right?
On this deck, and it's like if that's your problem, you got all the black stuff. Just play Gecko. Like,
play Gecko.
If you want to still play black cards and you still want to play best deck and slot, just play Gecko.
Now here's the crazy thing. Here's the one reason. So while I am very, very confident in saying I do think Sakazuki's dead, part of the reason I'm still not certain, like if he didn't die, if he did manage to still like keep topping and stuff, I could kind of see it. And that's because while he has lost his leader ability that made him really good in everything, or his leader abilities that made him really good for free, he does still have one leader ability that does still enable all of his degenerate like play. Like he can still Rebecca, Hina, Lucci, and all that, because he still has a way to get Hina in the trash to abuse off Rebecca, because Rebecca hasn't been touched. He still is able to fuel his... Oh my, actually no he can't. Wait. Activate main once per turn. You may discard one card from your hand with the Navy type. Oh no, he can't. Okay.
Hina and stuff. You can. Still
no. I was gonna say, like, can you? Because turn 1, for example, with nothing on the board, like, would you be able to leader ability?
Yeah, I think you still can target, right? Quick side note: I just saw someone post a tier list. Sokka's gone. S tier is, oh my god, they have RP Law ahead of Bonnie in S tier.
No, that's wrong.
And then like I'm not gonna get into the rest, but I just think I just thought it was so funny because Sokka's just gone. Like he's not even like A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier. He's gone. He's just gone.
Literally, he's still able to abuse all the same nasty interactions he had before. He can still abuse. He could still abuse Lucci. He could still get his Hinas in the trash. Yes. He can still abuse Rebecca. He can still abuse Gecko Moria. Like, all the plays are still there and everything. He still has all the same ways of abusing, like, Hound Blaze and stuff like that. Actually, no, this leader is gone. This leader's gone. I take it back. He lost Great Eruption.
I feel he's gone. Like,
he lost Great Eruption. He's fucking gone.
I know people are going to attempt to still play him, but, like, he's gone. Unfortunately.
He's gone.
I
feel like there's an argument.
It's not even gonna be an argument. Like, people are gonna try and argue that he's not gone, but it's like he lost both of his free abilities and he lost Great Eruption. You know how much harder it is to do stuff? Like, the thing that made him so good was like the fact I can count so many times where like a Sokka player has kind of nothing going for them and they activate his ability to ditch something and get the card they need, or get into a Hound Blaze, get into a Great Eruption, use the Great Eruption, get into the Hound Blaze they need. This happens so many times that they will just do that effect to get to the exact card they need.
It was just so dumb too, that they literally gave him a blue leader ability and they gave him a black leader ability. He just had 2 free abilities, 1 for each color. So I do like that they have consolidated both color identities into one effect, but I think this effect is really bad. The fact that he is the only leader that has a cost to his -1 effect is fucking insane. Lucci has a -1 ability with a bonus. Smoker has a -1 ability with the bonus. Sakazuki's the only one that's paying the price to -1. Like, that is so rough, especially too when you consider too. So like, he isn't cycling, so he's gotten a lot less consistent. So that's one reason he immediately gets worse. But also, every time he does want to make a play now, he's like, for example, every single play costs him 1 extra card to do.
Yes.
Like, his hand shrinks by 1 every single turn if he wants to make a play. So he just gets so much worse. He gets so much worse. We've got to talk about Sakazuki a lot. Let's move on. Reject. Actually, no, still on the same topic. So then there's Great Eruption also. Yeah, so because I was gonna say, like, there's an argument to be made for him still being a thing if he still had Great Eruption, but with Great Eruption gone, he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Great Eruption does also hurt Gecko Moria. So I will say though, people have already been talking about replacements for it. There is one card, I'll throw a graphic on the screen really quickly. But let me go ahead and find it. What the replacement people are looking at for Great Eruption is, here we go. So it is from OP05. It's called Hot Culture Patchwork. Main, give up to one of your opponent's characters -3 cost during this turn. Then up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 0 will not become active in the next refresh phase. That's a lot worse. Either way though, it's a 1 cost event. It is a 1 cost event that minuses 3. So while it's not replacing itself like Great Eruption, to make up for that, it does -1 more. So Absalom can, like, for example, Absalom will, for example, be able to hit 5s in Gecko Moria. I think this is a fine replacement in Gecko. I think this is a terrible replacement in Sakazuki, though.
Yeah.
Because, so this is already a card that doesn't replace itself, so in Sokka, your hand's shrinking by 1 when you use this. And then if you do your leader ability also, you're losing a card from your hand for that as well. It's going to be very expensive for him to... Bro, I wouldn't be surprised if fucking Blurple Crocodile just won this matchup moving forward. It just would not surprise me. This shit seems so bad. It was already so expensive from the
Blurple Croc still got to deal with the yellow problem. Like, yeah.
He didn't have a problem with yellow. He has a problem with Katakuri.
Oh,
He has a problem with Katakuri.
What? Is it just Tenmom?
Yes, it's Tenmom.
Oh, God.
It's just Tenmom.
I think it's funny because, like, everything back on, like, Tenmom needs to get banned. Like, Tenmom should have got something like, let's
no, she shouldn't. She
I need her gone.
She should have, because it didn't make any sense to hit her, because Enel was the best yellow leader of OPO5. Then in OPO6, Katakuri took his place. And then in 07, Enel took his place again. Enel took his throne back. So literally, who is... If it's a worldwide ban list, hitting Tenmom does nothing in the East. It does fucking nothing, because they're back on Enel anyway.
Well,
and then they get Ace to replace it.
Like, you know, I'm crazy and I hate Tenmom. So I will always yell for her ban. Always.
Makes no sense to hit that card.
I'm crazy, so I'll scream for her ban every day of the week.
You know what's crazy though? So I did think that there would be one skill issue hit, and I thought it would be Tenmom, because I don't think she should be hit, but I think that she'd be a very scrubby hit to make to pander to like more casual players. That like see the game on a more service level. And I really did think it'd be Tenmom, because I knew with it being Bandai, there had to be one bad scrubby ban, and it's fucking Sakazuki. It's actually, I don't know. And you know what's crazy too? When I was looking at the list, when I woke up this morning, I looked at the list and I was like, okay, so I see these 3 cards. It says banned cards. So I looked at the leader and I was like, huh, so I guess he's the banned card. All right. Now, what numbers did they move Great Eruption and Reject to? Are they limited to 2? Are they limited to 1? I was like, oh.
Immediately knew. He's like, this is gone.
Oh, this is all banned. That's so like, I also don't get, why did they ban Great Eruption when they've already gutted Sakazuki?
Yeah.
That didn't make any sense.
I guess they're just like, let me think. Because in my head, I'm like, with Sakazuki gone, your only best deck, bro, they're afraid of Kyros. That's what it is. Kyros is coming with a vengeance. And
is that what it is? Is that what it is?
I'm just trying to figure out something, man. I don't know.
I thought Gecko made more sense than fucking Kyros.
I'm such a fan of just being terrified. It's like,
Great Eruption, because I get Great Eruption was because they wanted to reel in Black, but Black wasn't a problem. Sakazuki was.
Yeah.
So, and you've already dealt with the problem, so why the fuck? And you banned the problem. You banned it, actually. And then, because we can't say they eroded it, because no, they've tainted the value of everybody's Sakazuki alt-art leaders. So
that's so crazy.
Yeah, and then I guess the card we haven't talked about at all. So Reject. Reject has been banned. That card was insane. But I don't think there's really much to be said there. Of all the hits, that is by far the least. That is by far the, because even when we did our ban list, we didn't even think to put Great Eruption on the fucking list.
Wait, I thought we did.
Great Eruption?
Oh no, I was on Hina.
Oh yeah. For some reason, we didn't even think to put Great Eruption on the list, so that made no fucking sense.
Yeah, like I didn't think Great Eruption. I like Great Eruption's an incredible card, but like I didn't think it was ban worthy just for the fact it's a necessary card Black needs. Like it's a 1 cost -2. I don't like that it draws, but it's a card they need.
I also really do hate hits though that just pander to like very, very casual players, because I have no problem like casual players or anything, but I do hate that casual players do think that their casual opinion should dictate how the game like moves. Because like, for example, I was on Facebook earlier and I saw, so Sakazuki's banned, right? And you still have casual players like, that's fuck, why didn't they hit Houndblaze too? It's like, what the fuck do you mean? The leader's been banned, Great Eruption's gone.
Houndblaze will never see play again. Like, that is just plain and simple.
What the fuck do you mean?
Houndblaze was only good because of Sakazuki.
It's like these are not the players that we should be listening to. They lose one specific matchup, and Sakazuki is already bad. He's already bad. Why does he lose Houndblaze too?
Because I remember someone complaining about Houndblaze, and they're like, Houndblaze should get banned, and I was like, I was like, maybe, but only like ban it out of Sakazuki or something, because it only has use in that deck. Only has use in
Houndblaze.
It will never have any use in any other deck unless Blue starts coming out with cards that are like, oh yeah, treat this. You can now target one of your opponent's creatures, and it is now treated as a 2. But then
Bandai
that's
was right.
level manipulation, and that's black. So there's no way that would ever happen.
Yeah, Bandai was right not to touch Houndblaze because for you to be a meta leader, you have to have a good card. Every deck can have a good card. There's nothing wrong with having a good card. Sakazuki's good card is Houndblaze. Sakazuki's problem is that his leader abilities were too efficient and he had too many good plays.
Yes.
So now his good play is Houndblaze like it should have been. He still has his Gecko play and everything. But good leaders are allowed to have good cards. Good, just because a card's good doesn't mean it has to be banned. Because you know, every leader has a play that justifies, like in Ninebeard. Or in Whitebeard, Ninebeard was the power play. In Sakazuki, Houndblaze should be his power play. That's you're allowed to have cards that are better than they should be, so long as they aren't breaking the game. And Houndblaze wasn't breaking the game. Rebecca was breaking the game, and she's still here. She's still here. So
and like the thing is, like Rebecca,
Gecko
like,
10 drop or 8 drop was breaking the game. Still here.
But it's just I don't know, like this is something like I feel it's crazy. I guess Bandai thought we don't want to hit multiple cards.
They did.
And, like,
they hit the leader.
No. I'm thinking like, what does Bandai do that doesn't just crack Sakazuki in the head and then go like, okay, now Rebecca's no longer a problem. The Hina Rebecca Lucci's no longer a problem. This is no longer a problem. Like them just hitting Sakazuki alone means Houndblaze is no longer a problem. Hina Lucci's no longer a problem. Like it did a lot. It did a lot just hitting him. But like hitting Great Eruption just like really nails in the coffin. Like they already had him on the cross and they just took these giant fucking nails and wedged him into him.
That's my problem with the ban. Because I feel like if you're gonna ban Sakazuki, because realistically, it's either you ban the leader because you don't want to affect all the other leaders, or you keep the leader in the game, but the other leaders pay the price, and you have to try to find a way to hit other cards that won't hurt them as much.
That's what I'm saying.
And they chose to ban Sakazuki. So why the fuck is Great Eruption gone? It makes literally no sense.
That's what's so weird about it. Because like I guess. And like in their heads, they're like infinite wisdom. Let's ban 2 cards instead of like 4. Like that's literally let's ban 1 leader and 1 card rather than 4 separate cards out of a deck. Like that's
if Great Eruption, because for real, like realistically, if Great Eruption was not on the list, do you think this leader would do anything? Like
no. I'm saying like
no. I'm saying. I know you don't think so. But that's what I'm getting at.
They're expecting Black to be doing more. Like I don't know, because like at the end of the day, the people creating these cards and the people that are designing the list, they don't play the game.
They don't play the game.
They only hear what we're saying. And
I don't think they hear what we're saying.
No, because it comes back to that majority of players, like the casual players.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right.
All cry about a single card and a single leader. So Bandai heard Sakazuki's a problem. Sakazuki's a problem. They didn't really hear why it's a problem. They just heard Sakazuki's a problem. That's all they kept hearing. So of course they're going like, okay, let's ban Sakazuki then. Because people keep complaining that Sakazuki, a leader, is a problem. Not that his abilities are too overtuned, especially into cards such as Houndblaze.
Well, I think they did hear that because this new Sakazuki is.
Yes. But they probably only kept hearing that Sakazuki's a problem. And again, like they printed a leader with 2 free effects. No other leader in the game has 2 free effects.
Realistically, I think they could have just did the. So there's a lot of different ways they could have went about eroding this leader. I don't think they should have done this. This. I feel like this was overkill. I think realistically they could have just done the Perona thing and made him choose one of the 2 abilities each turn.
Yes, I was literally about to say that. Like I just hate that he came out in a set with other leaders who have 2 abilities, but you have to pick one. Like I hate not him, but like I hate that he came out like that. Yeah. Because Isho's the same way. Like there's so many other leaders that do have like maybe multiple effects and stuff like that who have to pick one. And
it's also wild.
He got both for free, which made no sense. Like it was wild everything out.
Because he got both in OPO5 and then Perona in OPO6 has to choose.
Yes,
and she's after him. She comes out after him.
It's because it's like they learned. It's like they freaking learned, and it's like, oh, putting someone with 2 abilities that are free.
They didn't.
Ain't fair.
They didn't learn because You know that those cards, you know OPO6 was already designed before they saw OPO5 played out. Because if they had any knowledge of OPO5, they would not have printed Tashigi Searcher in OPO6.
True. And then that, oh my god, the fact that Sakazuki was already so slipstream, like it was just so good to get to cards in your deck. They're like, give him a freaking searcher, and it's like, please no.
Give him a 1-cost searcher that digs 5 deep. It was funny too, because like they were buffing him in OPO6. So when I woke up this morning, I looked at the Small Hat Discord server, link in description, and I saw messages between you and Nick, and you're like, they're banning Sakazuki, right? And Nick goes, no, we're done with OPO5. And as I read that, I was like, what the fuck do you mean? He's still the best leader of OPO6.
Yeah, like it was crazy. Like I was like, that's weird, but yeah, he is the best leader of OPO6. Like he's just going to be the best. And I jokingly said they're gonna ban him. Like I was in my head, I'm like, they're not gonna ban him. Like that seems crazy. That just seems wild that they would ban him. I think they were gonna ban cards around him, but I didn't think they were gonna ban him specifically. I thought he might get a rework down the line, but they were like, nah, fuck it, ban him and rework. It's like, whoa, y'all didn't have to do both, but okay.
I just don't. I don't get it.
I don't get it. Man. No one gets it.
Any closing thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Fuck Sakazuki. And again, sorry Sakazuki players, I'm sorry. Like I mean, you got Gecko. Like just jump to Gecko. Wait till Kyros pops off. I don't know. Like we can go back to
not going to pop off.
Shut up. We can pray and hope. Look. Red Green Luffy's got this now. He can do it.
He's getting support. He's getting support in OPO7.
Oh my god.
He's getting supernovas.
Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Well then, I guess with that being said, until next time, we'll see you guys.
See you later.